The Vrex training compound had produced the galaxy's most feared warriors for 3,000 years. Its methods were brutal, its reputation built on blood and tears. Instructor Thane stood at the observation deck, watching 50 cubs struggle through morning drills. Several had collapsed. 2 wept silently in the corner, too terrified to make noise that might attract punishment. This was normal. This was the Vrex way. Pathetic, Thane growled. This generation is weaker than the last. The door hissed open. A human woman entered, small by Vrex standards, wearing a Galactic Council consultant uniform. Her forward-facing predator eyes scanned the room calmly. Instructor Thane? I'm Ellen Novak. The Council sent me to review your training protocols. Thane's crest flared. A human? Here? What could your soft species possibly teach us? Ellen remained steady. The Council has concerns. 40% of your warriors suffer complete cognitive collapse before age 20. That's a resource problem. Thane wanted to dismiss her, but Council orders were clear. Fine. Observe, but do not interfere. Ellen spent 3 days watching. The cubs were brutalized, struck for mistakes, starved for showing weakness, isolated for seeking comfort. By any reasonable standard, it was systematic torture of children. On the 4th day, she requested a meeting. Your methods produce results. Ellen began neutrally. But you're losing 40% of your investment. What if I could reduce the breakdown rate to less than 5% while maintaining warrior spirit? Thane laughed harshly. Impossible. Warriors are forged through suffering. Let me try with one group. 20 cubs. 6 months. If I fail, I'll leave and recommend the Council drop all complaints. The offer was appealing. Proving a human wrong would be satisfying. Agreed, Thane said. Ellen was assigned 26-year-old cubs who had just begun training. Among them was Raku, a small male with gray-striped fur and terrified eyes. He'd been weeping during drills for a week. Ellen's first action shocked the observing instructors. She smiled at the cubs. Her second action horrified them. She learned their names. Raku, she said gently, kneeling to eye level. That's a strong name. Does it mean something? Raku stared, confused. No instructor had ever used his name. It means swift wind, he whispered. Then let's see if you can move like one. Ellen said. Not because you're afraid, but because swift winds are beautiful and free. Over the following weeks, Ellen rebuilt the training. She kept the physical rigor. Cubs still learned combat, still built strength. But she removed the terror. She replaced punishment with encouragement. When Raku struggled with a sword technique, Ellen didn't strike him. She adjusted his grip and said, Try again, Raku. I can see your improvement. When another cub, Sarah, collapsed from exhaustion, Ellen gave her water and said, Rest now. Knowing your limits is wise. The observing instructors were appalled. She's coddling them. Krell protested. They'll become weak. But something strange was happening. The cubs were improving faster than previous groups. Raku, who had wept daily, now executed sequences with genuine enthusiasm. Sarah volunteered for extra training. And perhaps most disturbing to Thane, they smiled. When Ellen called Raku across the yard, the cub's face lit up. He ran to her eagerly, ready to learn, ready to succeed. To be why month 4. Thane's skepticism was crumbling. Ellen's cubs outperformed control groups in every metric: strength, speed, technique, problem solving. Their psychological assessments showed 0 trauma responses. How? Thane finally asked. How are they stronger without the suffering? Ellen considered carefully. They're not stronger without suffering. They're stronger because they're not only suffering. Your methods taught cubs they were worthless until they proved otherwise. Mine teaches them they have value, and training enhances that value. One creates warriors who fight because they fear failure. The other creates warriors who fight because they love excellence. Thane's crest lowered in deep thought. And they still have discipline. Watch tomorrow's exercise. The next day, Ellen put her cubs through the most advanced combat simulation, one typically reserved for 10-year-olds. A brutal hostage rescue scenario with multiple enemies and a countdown. Every senior instructor crowded the observation deck. Raku, Ellen called. Your team leader. Raku nodded, focused and calm. He organized his team based on each cub's strengths and led them into the simulation. The cubs moved with precision and courage. When Sarah took a hit, she adapted. When Raku's strategy failed, he tried a new approach. They completed the simulation in record time. When they emerged, exhausted but triumphant, Ellen called their names one by one. Each cub stood taller. Each one smiled. Thane descended slowly. He approached Ellen, his four arms held in a gesture of respect, something he'd never thought he'd offer a human. "Teach us," he said simply. Ellen looked at her cubs, then at the compound full of thousands more who deserved better. "I will. But remember, this isn't human magic. This is just treating children like people. Your species has always been capable of this. You just forgot." Within a year, Ellen's methods spread throughout the Vrex training system. Instructors learned to use names, to encourage, to build warriors who were strong and whole. The breakdown rate dropped to 3%. Graduation rates soared, and warriors trained under the new system proved even more effective in combat because they fought from genuine warrior spirit, not fear. Raku graduated at the top of his class 8 years later. Standing before the assembled council in full battle armor, he was asked who he credited for his success. "Instructor Ellen," he said without hesitation. "She was the first person who ever called my name and made me want to answer." In the audience, Ellen wiped her eyes, human tears that the Vrex had once viewed as weakness. Now they understood. Sometimes the strongest thing you can do is care.